Good evening. Welcome to Income Trading 101. Today we're going to cover Snapchat, little Snap stock, SNAP. Today is October 22nd, 2019. And let's take a look. So here's the chart, the current price chart. It's a daily chart on Snapchat. And I took these images during the day, so it may have finished a higher or lower. I'm actually not sure where the actual close was, but I wanted to make sure I got this video set for you guys, and the readout, the analysis won't change too much. So right off the bat, the very first thing I see is that the current price, when I took this screenshot of the image, was $14, and you can see that $14 range has actually, so here we are right here, that range actually created some support, and it also was the high back in, this would have been July of 2018. So as you'll hear me say again and again in these videos, oftentimes what was previous resistance will turn into support once you break through it. So let's just add a little bit of a moving average to this. So when you look at the 10-day, the 20-day, and the 50-day moving averages, you have a scenario where all three have actually crossed back over back in early September. They each crossed over, and they're once again in line, but now in line to head lower. So you have the 50-day being in blue, is higher than the 20-day, which is higher than our short-term, our 10-day or 2-week moving average. That when these are all in line, that tends to be a clear indicator or indication of which way the stock is heading. And we saw that back as well. Well, first off, if you look back here in July of 18, you see all three moving averages in line, and the stock went significantly lower, and then it crossed over here back in, it looks like what would have been about late January or early February of 2019, and they all got in line once again. So it's hard to just trade with moving averages because they self-correct, meaning the averages today, when you look at them tomorrow, are going to they're going to alter with just new information like a significant up move or down move, like this gap that we had back in February. That will change the moving average price of the day before, because the whole line just gets pulled up. So because of that, it's hard to use them. So I like to use multiple indicators. So from the moving average, I like to look at the MACD, which is a moving average convergence divergence chart. And so what it does is it actually uses some of that moving average data, but it takes it it gives us a different image. And so we have a zero line, and then what we end up looking for are patterns of change, where the momentum changed, crossed over above or significantly below the line. Now, I'm not seeing, because this time period, I guess, had actually a very similar time period, you're seeing the stock not be as volatile, but this MACD was all over the place. For instance, if you had sold right here in July, you would have lost money. Let's see, if you had sold here, you would have made money for a few days, and then seen this up move, you would have lost some money. You certainly would have lost money when the stock popped in late July. So I'm not really feeling strongly even right now about this possible crossover. A crossover below the zero line is an indicator of a bullish signal It's a bullish signal, but I don't quite believe it just yet. So let's keep going. So I'm going to use that same time period and just throw in the Fibonacci analysis. And the Fibonacci analysis is great because it gives you an idea of where the stock is relative to retracing the last big move. So when I look at the last move up, back from December of 2018 all the way through July of 19, that was a fairly straight, almost straight move up. So far, we have retraced a little bit more, or nearly 38%. So 38.2% is actually a key indicator as well. 50% is also a big move. One that we often see. We see stocks retrace 50% of its previous move quite often. And they're guys that make tons of money just trading that. But again, I'm not getting a clear signal of do I sell or buy this stock at the moment. So let's expand it out. If the time frame that we were looking at isn't as conclusive, I like to look at a 5-year chart and see if I see anything else that gives me some indication of where we might be. And this actually gives us a little bit more information. Now, Snapchat has not been public 5 years. It actually has been public 2 years. It went public, it appears to be back in February of 2017. So a little more than 2 years, about 2.5 years of data. And we see now that $14 range has been significant throughout the life of this chart. Also notice that it changed from being a daily chart to being a weekly chart. So each bar actually represents a week, not 1 day anymore. So let's do some more analysis with the 2.5 years of data. And I just went ahead and drew that support line just to make it even more clear. Support and resistance. We see it being both. We see it being support, back in late 2017 and late 2017, and then becoming support again, strong support in early 2018. And then when we see it break through that support line back in April of 18, suddenly this range becomes resistance, right? It was hard for it to break through again. We saw a down move, and then this time it broke on through and has seemed it could very well be support again. So that this to me is much more of a bullish indicator than anything we've seen. I like the fact that the MACD is crossing over, but again, the MACD can be somewhat fickle. The fact that we're right around a very, very important price range that has been significant for this company for many over the last couple of years is very good. It's a good key that something may happen. And I went ahead and did a Fibonacci analysis. Really, this time we're looking at what would be late February of 2018 down through the price range that changed. Really started an up move in in mid-December, early December of 2018. So this is about this is a decent 10 to 11 month move right here, and I want to see how much we came back. So if you look, we got to the 78.6% price point, and that level seems to be creating a little bit of resistance. But if we can break through it, if we break through that $17.10, $17.20 range, I would expect this to fully get back up to $20. This is actually a much more bullish chart than I would have imagined from what we'd seen in the previous indicators. So that's it for Snapchat. Definitely want to use this video series to walk you guys through technical analysis. There's a free course, a little technical analysis course coming up. So keep watching, subscribe to the channel, Income Trading 101, and as usual, happy trading.